2006, your game tying 3 versus the Lakers.
Oh, that was a thrill,
That was a moment.
And it comes to me at the top of the key, and Steve is on the left side of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, should I pass it to Steve or, go ahead and take this shot? I just took the shot, man. And
one of the best feelings in the world, seeing that thing go in, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then especially on the road.
You're going up against Kobe, right?
But playoff Kobe was different. I always was with him on that. Like, yeah, I'm 1-0 against you. You got chips, but I'm 1-0 against you.
All right, y'all, welcome to Cousins. I'm VC, Cuzzo here. T-Mac, tell the people what we got.
We want y'all to be a part of the fam, so make sure y'all subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and keep up with us on social by following @Vince and T-Mac. Shout out to our presenting sponsor, FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Cuzzo, we got one of our brothers for a long time, one of our NBA brothers. We go way, way back to the teenage years.
And yeah, we definitely go back to the teenage years, he and I, but this is Patterson Catholic's finest. 15 years in the league, like you said, a friend of ours, a brother of ours, man, guy who, if you didn't know about Tim Thomas, you're going to learn today because, like, not only is he basketball royalty for so long, but like I said, we've been friends and we've seen him in our journey calling games. We get to see him out there doing his thing with the Knicks, man. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, family.
Always a pleasure, man. So since we talked about high school, we know your story about how you got on the scene, but for you got on the scene immediately as a young guy. Was that your goal? Let's just say middle school. Like, I'm about to take it over. Like, did you already know?
Nah, no clue, B. No clue. So what happened with me early on was, you guys familiar with 5-Star basketball camp?
Oh, I know. That's how we met.
Yeah, right? Right. So going there, the summer of my 5th grade going into the 6th grade year, that was my first time ever going anywhere, like, to play.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on, so you went to 5-Star at 6th grade?
Yeah, that's how, because remember, I was the best 6th grader in my class.
But so when you go to 5-Star at 6th grade, what are the other guys? How old are they?
Well, you have
oh, you have
kind of,
okay.
Yeah, it's all kind of levels. It's different levels. Different levels.
And how tall are you in 6th grade?
I wasn't that tall. I was probably, if 6'1", 6'2", if that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I had a late.
What you mean?
He said if that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I had another growth spurt later on.
T, 6th grade, 6 foot is tall as shit.
I know it is.
You acting like you wasn't that tall though. He's like,
no, but
yeah,
saying,
I was like 6 foot, 6'1". Bro, in 6th grade, you was 6 foot?
Yeah, I was a tall one.
Wow.
And then I had another growth spurt. You know what I mean? So I ended up 6'10".
All right, so finish. You went to 5-Star.
So I went to 5-Star, and very first time there, all the scouts and stuff is there, whatever. And I just went there to enjoy it, to get out of the inner city, play some ball, and just enjoy the experience. Not knowing that I had this God-given talent of, becoming what I became. And from that point on, it was like I came home that summer the best 6th grader in my class, and I just, at that point, really wasn't taking it serious because it was like, that's camp.
Yeah.
And then, as the years go on, you're the best 7th and then the 8th grader. And then, once you start hitting high school, then you start getting a little bit more notoriety.
So what was your mindset in middle school? Because for me, middle school, baseball was more of my sport. Actually, I played all 3 sports in middle school. I played baseball, football, and basketball. So basketball was a priority, but it wasn't like my main thing. I played pickup basketball a lot at the courts.
Right.
We didn't play full court, we played half court. So what was your mindset? What was your mentality in terms of like how you viewed the game of basketball in middle school? Did you love it or you played other things?
I played everything, similar to like yourself.
Did y'all hooped outside?
Yeah, of course, in the city.
Yeah.
We hooped outside, and the one thing for me was I was a knucklehead, right? I grew up hard. Like, Patterson is a tough city. I grew up like kind of hard. So my gym teacher, shout out to Mr. Marino, I had guys that was from my town ahead of me that he was kind of pinpointing and showing me day in, day out to kind of keep me straight and narrow or out of trouble.
Yeah.
So he would show me the newspaper of Rory Sparrow, who went to Villanova, played with the Knicks.
Shout out to Rory, yep.
A guy by the name of James Scott, who went to
Shout out to
East
Jay
Side High
Scott.
School.
I remember James.
You remember Jay?
I
Yeah,
remember that name, yeah.
You know, he would show me James Hargrove, who went to Duquesne, who's now coaching high school ball with me. So he would show me these guys, Dwight Wilbur, who also went to Nova. So he would show me in the paper like what these guys are doing day in, day out. And that was like
the inspiration.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I grew up, baseball was my first love. I stuck with baseball until I started.
What position you played?
I pitched shortstop, center field. You know what I mean? So I did that. I even went back in high school and played. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but again, I really didn't like take it serious. I was just a kid trying to enjoy those experiences by getting away from what was going on in the city. You know?
6'9" and as a freshman. Did now you started viewing sports differently? I'm bigger, taller. I mean, obviously you've already had some success in hearing, you know, being touted as, you know, the one. But now your freshman year, I feel like that's when we met each other. I want to say your freshman year was my sophomore year.
Probably
if it's not my sophomore, it might have been your sophomore year, junior year.
Right.
It was my sophomore going into my junior year.
Right. Probably early
on.
on.
No, you're right.
Maybe
your
early
freshman
on.
year, my sophomore year is when I first met you.
Right.
And watching you play, because so, you know, in Florida, you see some big guys, but you don't see big guys doing that.
Right. No, they centers. Big guys are centers where we're from. At that time, if you're the tallest, center.
And you were back to the basket type.
For sure.
And you dunk bait because a lot of them weren't very athletic. And I mean, that's not true. There's a lot of guys who were athletic, but not to what you brought to the table. So watching you play at 5-star, I remember us. I'm sure you have the picture of me, you, and Charlton Clark sitting there, iced up and all that stuff. And I remember us having that conversation, sitting there talking that day, which changed the trajectory for me as well as a player. Because I started getting to see other players, you know, and just seeing what's out there,
different skill set,
and having the conversation. So, you know, we used to being around the Florida boys who, you know, we trying to, you know, now we see it, you know, now I'm with him, Charlton Clark, who had a crazy handle, who ability, like, you know, different with Steph, the whole nine.
Felipe,
you know,
Rasheed Wallace, it was
all
so
of these.
many guys.
I'm playing up there, so he talked me into playing, trying to play AAU with them, because at the time, as you know, Team Florida, it was a little watered down, so all the best players weren't playing.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, man, I still want to play, and we would. That's all. That's who I hung with. And I was like, all right, cool. What we talking about? All right, got to fly up there. Cool, whatever. We played like that first weekend. I remember we went up to Massachusetts, play out there.
Yeah.
Y'all on the same team.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was ridiculous.
Lob City.
Well, for me, right, I always tell people about Vince, like I was seeing the stuff that people caught on to later, early.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell is this, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So right? And it was so smooth and easy. I'm like, damn.
That shit was polished, too.
Yeah. And I was
at an early age.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn. And, you know, me being who I was at that time, a big guy can handle the ball and stuff like that. Like some of the things that he was doing, I was kind of jealous because I'm like, damn, I can't get off the ground so easy like that. You know what I mean? But it was like instant rock stars because he brung something different to the table, and then obviously I brung something different to the table. The thing about like back then, it wasn't like now, right? So like when you went to an AAU event, wherever it was at, you could get guys from wherever. You could get guys from Florida, Texas, California, and make one team, right?
Yeah.
And when you go to these events, you don't know who's gonna be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So you got guys from different.
So y'all not doing no practice, and you just showing up.
You just showing up and going
and hooping
and just going,
and then put it in a few plays. But like at that time, we didn't need plays because we already knew once he got the rebound, it wasn't looking for Donald Hand or whatnot.
Yeah. He's gone.
You know, Donald knew, get up the court.
Yeah.
And then once I caught on to it, I was like, nah, get out the way, let me go.
Yeah,
Just like what you said when we played together, he had the same mentality.
Yeah.
That was my sophomore year. Then became the decision my junior year. So I almost moved to Paterson, New Jersey to play for Paterson Catholic with this guy.
Yeah,
because
my junior year. Because
of the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had played AAU just up and down all over playing.
Right.
So it was like, and some of the coaches and even players, everybody talked me into, asked me about it. I was like, leave him fly. I would never have thought. And then I was seconds away. Like,
You
I
was gonna
backed
stay
out.
with him?
I was going to live with one of the other coaches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that. It was
we
that
had
close.
we had a
That close.
all set up living arrangement. Like I was last second. I told him, I said, man,
That called me, was like, I never forget that he called me, because also Kevin Freeman.
Yes.
I remember
So
Texas,
we was
right?
gonna be, we was gonna
No,
be
UConn.
No,
UConn.
UConn. Big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
UConn.
And we was gonna be something special. And V called and was like, man, I don't think I could do it. And the first thing he said, those damn winners. Those winners gonna get me. Because we was doing a lot of traveling in the summer.
Yeah.
So experiencing
Yeah,
that
we don't
winter,
like cold.
man. Yeah.
We don't do cold.
That coldness
At
is
that
different.
time.
Y'all think y'all was the most talented team, AAU team? Or did y'all play,
Ever?
somebody? Nah, I mean, just,
Ever.
y'all think y'all.
Ever.
You know who came?
Rest
who,
in peace
you
to
know
Bean.
who? But I said, he was on our team too. He didn't know that.
Hold on. Cole was on y'all?
Ever,
He came in
Mac.
after. I was there, and then
Ever.
I show up to a tournament.
Hold up, bro.
Jelly Bean.
Hold up.
You didn't know that?
No, hold up. Kobe's on y'all team too?
With
Ever.
Kev, down
You
on
said it.
hand. Yeah. And Kobe ended up playing the point guard.
Yep.
And this is what, 10th, 11th grade?
This is my sophomore year?
Which would be junior. I think it was
So
going into
you
my
and
senior
Cole
year.
was sophomores, and you was a junior.
Going to my senior year. That summer going
Yeah.
into my senior year.
Yeah, I think
So
it was,
that was a year that you was on Team Florida.
Junior.
Nah, because I was going into my sophomore year.
Okay.
yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Yep.
You was a rising junior. You was a rising senior.
Yeah, because I played a few games there, and then nobody showed up, and then
Damn, Cole was on there.
Yeah.
But y'all some real rock stars. Y'all had
Mac,
to
we
be.
was beating
Y'all-
people. We was beating people by 50, 60.
seriously.
Just
And Cole came the first day and started with don't know no plays.
nobody.
We just
Just out
Nothing.
there
Just
hooping.
let's play.
when you feel like a pick and roll, come
Yeah.
on.
So let me I'm gonna put it to you like this. We're responsible for what you see now as far as in the AAU world with circuits being played at colleges or high school games being played at colleges
Yeah.
and different things like
Yeah.
that.
Which one you right?
We're responsible for that. We won the national championship at Florida State. We sold out the entire arena.
We who?
Me, that young man right there, or that old man now right there, and God rest his soul, Bean. So yeah, we was a little bit ahead of our time in that sense, and again, it was a thrill to be able to lace them up.
That's what I was
with
gonna say.
V and
You know why it was cool? And I'm
B.
gonna say that it was so easy because guys, it was just like hoop. It wasn't. Nah, I need to get mine. It was gonna happen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, where was like the egos or was it? It was. I don't know who else was on the team, but I'm just going to say you three guys, you two and Bean. Like, was it like y'all was challenging and pushing each other, or you
it
see him
wasn't-
doing something and then
So-
y'all
So
just out there
here's
hooping?
the thing, right? Those guys came to play with me. So I had open arms.
Do
to
your
it.
thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, and y'all know my personality. I was never that kind of guy
With the
that,
ego,
Yeah,
right.
never.
Yeah.
So I was just excited because again, we met at 5-star. I was seeing what he was doing at 5-star. We heard about Cole, but never got a chance to see him
Right.
because he came over late.
Yeah,
And with Cole, because he was in my class, I wanted to see where he was at, right? And then obviously he was right behind him as the
Mhm.
number, 2 or 1,
In his
point
class.
guard the next year. I mean, or shooting guard the next year in that class. So we wanted to see, you know what I mean? And
was he nice? Like, was he nice then when he came?
yeah, Yeah. Super confident, like
Yeah.
extreme confident.
Hey, man.
You remember the first couple of shots he
I was
took?
just about to say this.
Yeah.
His first shot at half court, pulling up.
Yeah.
The first shot he took was an air ball.
Right.
We're like, hey, bro, what you doing?
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
Wait. But Matt,
exactly.
here's what's
Blow
funny about
eyes.
Kobe Bryant. The next play down, now he wanted to show. Makes it. We're like,
And then went right back after that and took another one and made that one.
Like,
You know what I mean? Super confident. And, you know, for me, like, just being around others that maybe street ball or whatever, like, that's our mentality here on the East Coast. Like, I don't give a damn what you talking about. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And for him to be coming from overseas where typically they get the bad rap of being soft and that.
Right.
It was none of that with him.
Yeah.
It was none of that
Yeah,
with him.
he had the mentality. Yeah.
and we
None
know
of it.
Kobe like we know Kobe. He did his homework. He knew what he
Yeah.
was walking on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm just letting y'all know I'm one of them too.
Yeah. And he was chasing me the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So obviously we played different positions and all that, but he was chasing me. He wanted to see what it was like, what I was doing. And obviously he had a cheat code that me and you didn't have. He had a dad that went through it. So he knew how to catch everyone. And that's what it was, you know? So, but yeah, special, man. And we had other guys that, like Donald Hand went to Virginia.
Yep.
Anthony Perry went to Georgetown.
Yeah, I remember Anthony Perry. Yep.
We just mentioned Kevin Freeman.
Yep.
Edmund
he was
Saunders.
Saunders.
Kevin Freeman was with us.
Oh, yeah. I got
Edmund Saunders went to UConn as well.
Came
He
off
was
the
with us. So we had some
They
guys.
have the greatest
Yeah.
AAU
By
team ever
It was
assembled.
By far.
Challenge that.
Handles, jump shot,
But
hops.
put in the comments your best trio, because Vince, Tim, and Kobe, that trio in AAU basketball, I don't think we'll find anything better. So put in the comments, let me know if you got a better trio in AAU basketball.
And we forgot our brother Rip. Rip came and played a few with us as well. Rip Hamilton.
That's insane.
So yeah, we had we had something going special.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins.
That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started.
And when every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action.
From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up.
FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips, so you can check stats, trends, and matchups all in one place and make your picks with confidence.
It's everything you need, all in one app, so don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/cousins to get started.
FanDuel, play your game. 21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DC, Kentucky, Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issues as non-withdrawables. Bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat, Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org, Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY, New York. Call 1-877-770-7867, Louisiana. Other than these two guys, Kobe and Cuz, who was like other AAU or talent in high school that was like really nice at that time?
There was so many
Felipe
guys,
Lopez
man.
was
Felipe,
ahead, and then Steph Marbury.
Felipe is your year.
Stephon,
He's a year ahead of me.
Sham God.
Yes, the guard.
Shit, LO.
Elo
Ron,
say
Elton
say you was the best high school player you ever seen.
Shit, LO has some shit too. And I appreciate
Trust
that,
me,
LO.
shit.
Yeah,
played
I mean,
against
both
him.
of us was, 6'9", 6'10", can handle it. He
KG.
was lefty,
KG
But it was a
out
You
there.
guy-
seen KG or what?
Yeah, I seen KG.
At what age?
I seen KG in high school. I played against KG and Ronnie Fields
It was
and Hoops in the
Yeah,
Loop.
Oh, so you played against him when he was in
Yeah.
Chicago now?
That's a guy. Shout out to Ronnie
Ronnie
Fields.
Fields.
Woo.
Ronnie Fields.
Yes,
Got
sir.
right. We got
was
robbed.
Yeah, we got robbed of that. I wish
Yes.
the world could have seen Ronnie Phillips.
Yes.
He was just a big guard that can get anywhere he wanted to on the court.
Yeah.
Shea Cotton.
Little Shea Cotton in him. Little Shea Cotton.
But I'm saying
in
that
him.
was another
Yeah.
one around that time.
Yeah.
I remember
Remember
Shea. Shea from West Coast, right?
Yeah.
Lefty,
Yeah,
lefty.
Ron Mercer
lefty.
was number one in my class at the
Ron
time.
was so
Yeah, Ron
cold.
Mercer, yeah.
So Ron and
Mid-range
KG.
assassin.
And hey, people don't remember, my sophomore year, Antoine Jameson was the best player in the world.
Really?
Yes. Sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ron and KG began
Yeah.
to
Y'all named some real heavy hitters. And
track
But
the
it was,
trailer. Nobody
man, it
could
was
guard
so
track the
many
trailer.
guys that was
Yeah.
nice, man. And shout out to everybody that's done it, you know, before us, after us. But
Yeah,
it was so many guys, man. Like, you know, like your experience was probably a little different because it was more structured camps, AAU stuff at that particular time.
Well, mine was different because I only went to one camp. See, y'all went to all these camps. I didn't. My first camp was Adidas.
Yeah, and I was
That-
there for the windmill. Then he turned into Mac.
Yeah.
He was Tracy.
Hey.
Then he turned into Mac.
And we talk about that. We've had people like
Right.
LO talked about it. Talk about that. Like you knew,
Mhm.
you know who you are. You knew LO. You didn't know this guy coming in.
No.
But when you left, you did. Like what did that? How did you know? Because it's not social media where you can go look that up. So
Right.
you walked away from ABCD now thinking, what about this guy?
So I was a counselor that week, and you know, you go in and they give us a list of top 20 guys, and they're like, "Hey, just take a peek, let us know," because obviously at that level, these guys or all of us at the time was the one and dones and all that. So they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next guy to drop that bag off to, right? So the whole week I'm just watching him. He, smooth and got the shot, could get anywhere he want to. And then there was certain plays where he would, I don't know who you dunked on.
James Felton.
No, not the windmill. Not the windmill. There was a situation where you caught a rebound and you went off the vert and banged on a big.
Yeah.
And then it was like, at that point, you maybe was probably like 15 and you start gumming up, coming. And the whole week, I'm just like, yo, when the All-Star game come, somebody gonna show out and it's gonna like get them to that spot.
Right.
And sure enough, All-Star game, he come out, he's hitting a couple of, shots, tough shots, lefty, righty runners, jump shots. And then comes the windmill. And when he shut down the gym, it was it.
It was over.
Everybody was, yo,
It was
Mac,
over.
that, this. And, as a guy that was young in the league, you're seeing yourself in him, right? You're like, yo, he's the next one. Like we was all frail and trying to get our body frame together, but you had the
No,
heart.
not
and
you. Don't do that. Not you.
Yeah,
Stop that.
it was a little bit. But we was trying to
You
gather and
right.
get ourselves together.
Yeah.
And you saw that, and then it was like, yo, after that, it was like the next day, everybody was like, before you could even go home, because that was the end of the camp, oh, he going pro.
Yep.
What?
Straight up.
He going pro.
It was just like that.
It was just like that.
It was just like that. Like
I was
my
like,
no bullshit. That week changed my life.
yo, it was just like that, V.
It changed my life, bro.
Yeah.
I'm coming from Polk County, bro, barely getting into this camp, fighting with the New York Cats, right? Getting separated, going up against LO, not knowing who he is until I get there. That's all I hear. And I have this phenomenal week, and I bang on James Felton, shut down the gym. You got coaches, the kids, everybody running on the court, Jay-Z sitting courtside. Like, it was crazy. And they said I'm going to the league. That's all I was. This kid going to the league.
Yeah.
So they put that out there for you.
Yes.
It wasn't something that you
No,
like,
I didn't put
that.
that. No, media they put scouts in.
I think that was more or less Adidas
Building
with the
that
mindset,
stock. Yeah.
knowing this kid, if he goes,
because
he's good enough to play.
Yeah, because Kobe just had left.
Yep.
Right? So Kobe had did it, KG before him. Kobe was an Adidas guy. I'm coming behind him as Adidas guy.
Yeah. And then you also had Jermaine.
J.O.
And then I could have went.
Yep.
And what KG did before us was like,
That's
setting the
that's
bar.
my year, yeah.
And then it was like, they just seen everything that he brung, and it was like, yo, he's going pro.
Why you didn't do it?
Why I didn't go pro?
What? And I heard you say you probably should have, or whatever the case. But why you didn't?
Well,
Paul Hewitt.
So
Paul Hewitt.
Paul Hewitt. Shout out to Paul Hewitt.
Shout out to P.
That's what I want to hear, because Kobe had signed with Adidas out of high school. I don't know what his deal was. I came out, and signed a $12 million deal.
We had the money. You came a little later. They cut it down a little bit after that. So remember, Arn and Sonny had just partnered up.
Yeah.
Right? And Sonny had just left Nike and all that. So obviously he was pissed off at Nike and all that, so he wanted to get back. So the money was there.
Right.
So I had $18 million on the table my senior year.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I need to hear this.
yeah, so
Villanova, what did you do?
so
Talk to me.
So to go back to the original question, it's not like it is now. When you go into the draft, if you get picked, you get whatever amount. Back then it was based, right? So if you was top 10, you knew what your numbers was gonna be. And I always wanted to be a top 10 draft pick. So my year, obviously I was set to go to the league, right? I had everything, the game, the body frame, the size, everything. But the first team that was gonna take any high school kid was gonna be Charlotte at 13. I knew that, right? I believe Kobe knew that. So the thing was that, all right, I could get this money that's on the table from Adidas, but I'm not going to get what I want from the league, right? And obviously I had nieces and nephews that was behind me, so I wanted to kind of show them the ropes a little bit as well. So me going to Nova, the safe haven was going to a school that wasn't going to cheat, right? And I had other schools throwing everything at me. Right? And we had examples in front of us. Shout out to C-Web and, guys like that. No disrespect, OG, but we had examples in front of us. So I said, I'm going to take the safe route. I'm going to go to Nova. And I had guys that was already on the board. Alvin Williams, Jason Lawson,
my guys.
Chuck Cornegay, guys was already on the board. So me going there, they're going to show me how to prepare for college. And Lapis is going to allow me, and Paul Hewitt is going to allow me to play the 3, which I want to go into the league playing the 3 because of the skill set I had. So that was the thing for me. And I knew that money was on the table from Adidas. And if I could become a top 10 pick, I knew also I was going to get that. Just trying to capitalize on everything that's kind of a little bit easier now for the youth now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I decided to go to Nova.
We almost played y'all. We almost played y'all in college for that year.
That would have been a good
Especially
one.
like him going there, it's like, oh yeah. I play AAU. It's always, like you said, playing against the people you grew up, your family. It was. I wanted to play Villanova so bad, but that year, because I had played them the years before. Yeah, you came in
with Kerry
with Kerry. Yeah, we lost to them.
You saying playing them in a tournament or just in a regular season?
Tournament.
Yeah,
they ended up losing.
We lost to California,
and we ended up playing California. We beat them to go Final Four. So, oh man, I wanted to, because I knew he was after that he was done. Yeah. You grew up a Knicks fan,
right?
But you get selected by the Nets,
right?
Like at
the
first,
whole team, I'm home.
Yeah, I know you're home, but it's like, I'm home, but it's like the Nets. Growing up, like you root for the Knicks, you don't root for the Nets.
Right.
Was that weird for you, or it was no, like, I'm in the league, whatever, I let that go?
You know what, though, V, to be honest, I was excited to be able to have an opportunity to play home. And I'll never forget, at that draft down in Charlotte, I had almost half the city with me, right?
I remember.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, it was just a thrill to get drafted and, top 10, all of that. And then 10 minutes later, they like, yo, you going down to Philly. I'm like, what? Because obviously, Keith Van Horn had the power agent and David Falk. And what he told his agent was he couldn't play with AI because of the speed. And Derek Coleman was there, and he knew he wasn't going to
play with that.
Start in front of Derek Coleman. So they made that move instantly. So for me, I was still happy because I went to school in Philly, and obviously me and AI, anyway. We had a relationship and all that. And then I looked at the roster, I'm like, damn, you got Stackhouse at the 2, DC at the 4, Chuck at the 1. Oh, bingo, me at the 3.
Yeah.
Let's go. you know? So I was excited about that. But yeah, growing up as a Knicks fan, like, if I would have got drafted by the Knicks,
Lost your mind.
So
What?
how long were you there with Stack and AI?
I was in Philly 2 years.
How did you like it? Well, because it seemed like you wanted to play the three, you in the three, you playing with Chuck, you playing with Stack. Seemed like that was like something that should have worked out. What happened with that?
I think Larry Brown, also, I think possibly David Falk probably got involved in that, in ownership.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. My rookie year, they trade Stack mid-season.
Stack went to Washington?
I'm not really sure. So
Because
long
he
ago.
was in Detroit.
He probably went to Washington. I'm not really sure. Or maybe Detroit.
He might have been Detroit. He
might have been Detroit.
Yeah.
It might have been
Because
Detroit.
remember,
That's right. We played him. Yeah. So he went from Philly to Detroit.
Right. So my rookie year, mid-season, they trade Stackhouse. My second year, they draft Larry Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to L. Hughes, right?
98.
Then they end up trading Larry after they trade me.
Actually, Larry and I it was a deal on the table for us. For me in Toronto to go to Philly for Larry.
Yeah. So when you look at Allen's whole career, obviously, you know, great career and one hell of a score and all of that, but he really never had any real scoring guys around him to help him get it done. So it was like always a question mark because obviously my mindset is David Falk had MJ, and then he was looking for the next MJ, right? And we all know AI ability, so it was like, this is the guy. But you need someone else around you. But to go back to the original question, like it was great for me to be able to play close to home, you know, where family and friends can come see me on a consistent basis. But I just didn't understand the business of it, and I was so young, and you know, getting lied to by Larry Brown, getting traded 10 minutes after he told you
That
he
was
wasn't.
crazy. That was
like that
crazy.
kind of shit just throws you off. You're like, oh, this is what the league is about, like, you know. So, yeah.
Just had a conversation with the coach, only to find out when you go do a radio interview. Hey man, you been traded.
Yeah.
What? I just talked to the coach, man. What you?
Yeah. So
talking about?
LB calls me and AI in because you know the media start talking about trades. Who gonna get traded? He says, listen, I just want you two to know, and we there with management. Just want you two to know, you two the only untradeable guys in the
Y'all
organization.
safe with me.
Yeah. So I get up. I had to go do appearance, and shout out to Egypt. You guys remember Egypt
I remember Egypt,
does the radio stuff? So I was going to do appearance with her. I get there. She's in the media. She know what's going on. Hey, Tim, you just got traded to Milwaukee. What? I was just talking to these dudes 20 minutes ago. Like, Milwaukee.
It's a dirty game.
Yeah. So, and I never really wanted to go to Milwaukee because they, you know, it's not because of the city or anything like that. It's because what they had on already there.
On that roster.
I'm like, where am I going to fit in?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm looking around, I'm looking at my peers like, you know, you guys had a great situation together. Then you split, then y'all still got situations. And I'm like, damn, like, everybody got their own situation. Like, I would love to have that. But now I got to play with, you know, 4 great players and try to fit in. You know what I mean? And I was there 5.5 years trying to fit in and do the 6-man role and all that.
So we both were in the East at that time, and we faced y'all numerous of times. And that team was loaded. And I felt like, you know, in the East, like you guys, the way y'all were presently constructed, because you had you, Big Dog, Sam, Ray Allen. Then you had the big boys, Caffey and Irvin Johnson.
Irvin Johnson, yeah.
Darvin Ham, bro. Y'all were loaded.
Yeah.
It was so like, why didn't y'all succeed and make the finals? Because y'all had everything.
Yeah. I mean, listen, maybe it wasn't meant to be, right? We had a super talented team. Year in, year out, we thought it was going to be, you know, our year. George kind of changed the whole format of being a defensive coach that he was in Seattle to an offensive guy. I remember he used to tell us, hey, y'all win 10, 12 games in a month, we'll give you the credit card. You guys go do what you want to do. So, you know, he used to always say, first one to 100 is going to win. Now, and that's like the norm.
Oh,
you know?
That's you only scoring 100. Your team stinks.
Yeah. So, but nah, man, like we competed to try to win, year in, year out. We just ran into some very talented teams. Like we ran into that Indiana team with
They were good.
with
J.O. and Reggie.
Was before that. That was Rex Chat. I mean, not Rex Chapman. Rick Smits, the Davis boys.
Oh,
Travis Best, Mark Jackson. That was that.
What is
group.
this? This 90. This like 99. 2000?
Yeah,
That's
Chris
like
Mullen.
right before he came over.
Yeah, that was before that. So we ran into
you
them.
were with us in Toronto.
Yeah,
That's what he talking about.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, that was that crew. So we ran into them. And then the one year we got to the finals, we ran into AI and that group.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say what you want. That year they went across the board, won everything. Larry Brown was coach of the year. AI was MVP. Aaron McKee was
Deke
sixth
was
man.
defensive player of the year.
God rest his soul. Deke was, Dikembe was the
That's what bothers me because listen, AI is great.
Right.
We don't take none for Chuck, but people act like he took a terrible team to the finals, bro. Like them guys for what he needed.
Yeah.
Bro,
and we took him to 7 and we lost
final wasn't
minute.
for Shaquille O'Neal, 76ers probably would have won a championship. That man, did you see Deke?
Yeah.
People don't understand. Deke averaged like 16 and 12 in the freaking finals against Shaq.
Yeah.
He was a monster, but he was getting killed.
Yep, exactly.
He was getting murdered in that
Couldn't do
joint.
anything with Diesel.
No,
That was tough.
But yeah, Milwaukee did have a good squad though. Y'all were pretty good.
Yeah. We was solid, man. We was solid, and for the fan base there, we gave it our all. We definitely gave it our all. But again, running up against those tough teams, man, like shit, you gave us hell.
Yeah, we had some battles. Like, we had some battles. Y'all just had too much for us, man.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed. I think that was my first playoff series away from Cuzzo.
Yep.
Was against y'all. So this is me in a different role, and man, it was similar to what you went through with the Knicks. Like they was just throwing bodies and bodies after me, just wearing me down. And I was like, damn, man. Can I get some
little airspace?
Yeah.
Hey,
can I get a break?
Yeah.
Can I sit down for a minute and get a break and catch my breath?
Yeah.
Because they just keep coming. You got Tim, you got Big Dog, you got Darvin Ham, you got Pope, you got Jason Caffey.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, come on, dog.
Yeah.
And
got damn near all of us in foul trouble too. Game in, game out.
I was listening, man.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you this. What was your reaction when this guy called my man the big puppy?
I mean, I'm used to that, right? So we couldn't really determine how Big Dog felt.
Internalized it. He didn't say anything in the
He didn't really say anything because he also was struggling offensively because he was timing his shot and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I was like, I wanted to take on that challenge. Like, yeah, I know Mac, like that's my guy, but let me take on that challenge because I was like probably one of the youngest, a little bit more mobile, and with his skill set, you got to get close. If you give him distance, he's gonna shoot, he go left, he go right.
Correct.
And that was, I think, one of the things that we kind of defensively didn't do a good job with you in that series. And once you get going, it ain't nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? So I took it like, man, that's a challenge for me. But, at that time, the older guys, they ain't really harp on it, too much. It was more or less like, let me try to get back. Now, Big Dog did have some times where he, had an advantage. But when the ball is constantly going through him, it's like
that's tough.
It's like
you
know what I mean? So
that could, for somebody like Big Dog that ain't used to guarding, a dynamic player like that shit could get discouraging, man.
A quicker individual. You know what I mean? And
asked to have that responsibility on the other end also. So like if you're wore down, now you're trying to stop someone and then they're trying to stop you.
Yeah. And then, everything back then also was about numbers, so guys was definitely wanting to get their numbers with the win. You know what I mean?
Good point. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's time to pick a side, Cuzzo. Presented by FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. And our betting line, will the Knicks win the Eastern Conference Finals? Ooh. Well, you already know my answer. So, big brother, big brother
I think-
T, big
yeah,
brother
we're gonna
Tim,
big brother
swing
Tim.
swing. Y'all gonna put that. Y'all gonna.
Yeah.
For the
do you wanna
first,
go
ladies,
back?
ladies
Pick
and
that-
gentlemen, let me tell you
Put
something.
that on, big bro. What you got, big bro?
For the first time in their life, they're gonna pass the ball to me.
Well, shoot it.
Obviously, man, y'all know where my heart at, man. We gonna win it all, man. We got to figure out how to get there, and once we get there, we got to figure out how to win
Well,
it. Go ahead, Mac. Come on, man.
well,
I understand.
that's what I don't understand about the Knicks, because if Jalen Brunson, has a bigger, more athletic guy on him, why don't you play through Cat?
Exactly.
Right.
I don't understand. Play through your other star. Like, he can loosen up the defense a little bit. Cat can play inside. Why you got Cat playing on the perimeter the whole game when he got a smaller guy on him that he could oversize, overpower, and make things happen, put guys in foul trouble, make the defense collapse, and get JB some easy shots to where he's
Or get
not working,
anybody some
or
easy
anybody
shots.
easy,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't understand what they're doing. I really don't. And this was my problem when they made the coaching change. I just thought it was going to be some problems like this. I like Mike Brown. I do. And I'm not saying this is his fault. I'm just saying I don't think they're buying into what he's bringing to.
And I also don't think that the team is constructed to his liking,
Yeah.
what he needs for his style of offense.
No, I definitely agree with you guys. Not on not winning it all, but the style,
Just what we're
how
seeing.
they're struggling right now, and all of that. Definitely, we'll have to play a little bit more 2-man game or go inside.
2-man.
There's no way, and shout out to Jonathan Kuminga. There's no way possible he can or should be guarding Cat like that.
Yeah.
You
No
know,
way.
that
Or
should
a
be
Congo for that matter,
or
because
that,
here's another guy who is
Yep.
a big now. I see put him on the perimeter, use your ability
yeah,
to do whatever. And it's I
so
feel like,
hopefully, Coach, you listen to this, Coach, right? And we make some adjustments and get it done, baby.
Hope so.
let's just say, conversation purposes, the Lakers get past Houston.
Okay.
Do they have a chance to
OKC?
Yeah.
I just think OKC has too much to.
What
to
if the
throw.
Lakers slow it down?
How?
I don't think they can. It's one of those things where you don't know where it's going to come from if it's not Shea.
They even got a guy playing who hasn't even, Aaron Wiggins haven't even played. And he had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, they got a great crew over there. I love what they doing, especially with them being a defensive minded team first.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you said, Mac, you don't know who's gonna give you what. You know where the ball gonna go in crunch time, but you don't know who's gonna give you what, you know, in those first three, you know. But my thing is with the Lakers, you can never discredit the king, right? Never. And then with Luka, if he's healthy and, you know, he's a super talent. So it can go either way.
Well, see, that's why I don't think it go either way. I think I'm going with OKC just based off what you said. They're a defensive-minded team.
Yeah.
And Lakers can score with the best of them. But give me
do you have enough scores to compete with OKC scoring? And that was my question.
Because they got bodies to wear Luka or AR. They can neutralize. They have guys that could take AR out of there, right? Like, so where he won't be a factor. Now, Luka is a different beast. However he comes back healthy, he is who he is.
You have to throw multiple bodies. You can't give him the same look, and you have to frustrate Luka.
And that's why I said, like, if the Lakers could slow it down and play little post ISO, you know, with LeBron. They did it. The Lakers did it again, game one with LeBron a little bit.
Yeah,
but again, different team, all of that. But
it's a different.
I think that's the only way they stay in the
OKC is
series.
just a different beast.
Yeah,
man. They coming at you in so many ways.
Yeah.
And defensively, they can just cause havoc, and they getting out on the run.
Yeah.
And you look up, it's like a 11-0 run.
Yep.
Like they have so many spurts, so many runs. You can't. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah,
Man.
you're right.
Imagine a home where your Wi-Fi just works. Can you imagine that?
You mean streaming even with the whole family online? Multiple devices? Yeah, I can imagine that.
Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Your guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need it the most. We're talking next level experiences, fast connections, and the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi so you don't miss a play. Like right before a game winner.
Plus, you even get incredible gaming speeds and no one battling for bandwidth.
Most importantly, you get the ultimate fan experience. No contracts, no commitments, and everything you need included, all with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Restrictions apply. Select plans only. Xfinity Internet is powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Most reliable claim based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed broadband report, May 2025, XB6+.
Hey, Cuzzo, did you know that the average employer has to sort through roughly 250 resumes per job opening? Man, that's a full-time job on its own.
Well, cuz, if you're hiring, I got good news for you. You can now review all these resumes and applications faster thanks to ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter has a new feature that instantly shows you the most interested, qualified candidates first. And today, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/cousins.
With ZipRecruiter's new feature, all-star candidates who are very interested in your job show up at the top of your list. So it's no surprise that ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2.
Cut through the standard and get the standouts with ZipRecruiter.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/cousins.
That's ziprecruiter.com/cousins.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
All right, so we're going to talk about the hip-hop connection. We know you was closely affiliated with G-Unit. We hip-hop heads. This guy right here loves music, if you don't know. He's crazy about music.
I've known that for a long time.
Tell us about your hip-hop relationships, man, with the guys, because I've seen you around with a few of those guys. And
yeah. I mean, it's New York City, obviously, and then out west, Nip was my guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was the first one to bring Nip to the East Coast and kind of get him affiliated with guys here. But
see that's something we got to talk about. This is Nip, bro. You brought Nip to the city?
Yeah.
How did that, like, where did that relationship stem from? Like, how did y'all connect? You and Nip?
A teammate of mine, I don't want to mention his name because he's still coaching and stuff like that. Former, one of my young guys, his brother, obviously he's an LA dude, so his brother was heavy in the gang stuff or whatever. And first time he came to Milwaukee, they came there, it was cold, and LA guys, they didn't have no jackets, none of that. So back then everybody was wearing the Ava Rex, which is starting to come around now. So I had a box full of them. And I just gave all the guys, jackets and stuff like that. So he told me, he said, listen, when the season is over, come back west, hang out, blah, blah, blah. So the first time I go west, I'm hanging out with those guys. We go to a club. Suge Knight is in the club.
Yeah.
So I see Suge, and I'm like, hey, I ain't got no beef with nobody. I just want to go introduce myself, say what's up to the guys. So he seen who I was with at that time. Suge had a bunch of security guys and stuff. So I just went over and, said, what's up, yo, I'm such such. Nice to meet you, blah, 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 whatever. We kept it cordial, had a couple drinks. Yeah. And we was leaving that club to go to another club. And this was the infamous when he slapped the guy and all that. So we was trying to go from getting away from him because of the two different colors or whatever.
Yeah.
And
hold on, this was in the street when he slapped dude? What?
Park attendant.
Yeah, okay.
Park attendant. So that's how the relationship built. And then obviously I was, living out west full time for 19 years before coming east. But just those connections, right? And then I had a barber and all that kind of stuff that kind of knew the ins and outs of Nip and everything they was doing with the business stuff. So what happened was, me being who I am, Nip was trying to get out of his record deal. So he came to me to try to see if I wanted to do some business, stuff like that. That's how we linked up. We just, remained cordial and cool, just from being around the homies and stuff like that. So, he was always trying to make different connections.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get it done in LA.
Right.
So he wanted to come to New York. So I was like, yo, I'm going to bring you to New York and get you around some people and see if, you can kind of get out of your deal to go do your thing. And he came here, he enjoyed the city, connected him with the right people, and, that was that. So, yeah, great brother. God rest your soul, brother.
Talented brother, man. And I think the path that he was on was going to wake a lot of people up and change a lot of people's minds.
Yeah. And then here in New York, I had met 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Playing against Lamar Odom, Elton Brand, Ron Artest, and Queens at this one, I I forget the exact name of it, but back then the guys would be on the side betting.
What is it, AAU or just
It
summer?
was just
hooping in
like
the summer.
Yeah, it was like summer. It was like no, actually it was in the winter. So I don't know exactly what it was, but I do remember it was in the winter. But quick story. So it was a guy, Money E.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the guy from my hood that would always gamble and bet on games or whatever. So we in
Very
Queens.
passionate about it.
Yeah. So we're in Queens playing that group. So everybody's there because the names is ringing and guys is on the side betting. And we had rented 2 brand new white 16-passenger vans to drive over. And we played a game. I ended up kicking their ass. We ended up winning. So we go get in the vans to go back to Jersey. Coaches, whoever driving, they start the van up, throw the heat on, right? So they got the heat on. We supposed to be warming it up. And now it's time to take off. But we still feel like we outside. So these guys lost their money and they took the windshields from both vans. The windshields was clean out of both vans. Completely cut clean. No lie. So we had to ride back to Jersey with the windshields gone. So as players
in the wintertime?
In the wintertime. So as players, the heat is on the floor.
Finished sweating.
Them boys trying to have a seat block them.
No. So let me tell you what I did, Matt. Being smart, the heat is on the floor.
Yeah.
I got on the floor, laid up under the chairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's when, because back then 50 they was calling him boo boo or whatever back then. So that was my first time, like, really kind of before he became, who he is now.
What was that? Dumb and Dumber when they was on the scooter and it was cold by icicles. Well, I know that's how them drivers were. That's funny,
man, that was a ride from hell.
He probably driving. Y'all good back there? No, are you good, my friend?
Yeah.
So somebody like you have a relationship with somebody like 50, man. He's a mogul and a guy that just has his hands on a multitude of things. Is very successful. Any, things you learned, any advice that he's given you, or something that you've picked up to where like you've taken that and doing something on your own?
Yeah, I learned quick not to get on his bad side. That's
we all from afar.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, definitely, man. It's anytime you're around them, it's so much happening, whether it's entertainment wise or business wise.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, most of his things are kind of private as far as like what he wants to get into, what he want to get into, and stuff like that. Like I actually could have had a deal that he took with the vitamin water.
I was in
So
that.
Rapoli.
Right.
I was in that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, y'all remember the guy was coming around to all of the games and everything. So
Michael Rapoli.
Michael
yep.
Rapoli,
So
shout out to Mike.
I remember him
my neighbor.
coming to the game, giving us cases and his card and stuff.
Mhm.
And then I went to Sylvia's with my wife, and he was in there, and we had a nice little talk. And he ended up paying for our dinner and everything. And I was like, damn, I should mess with this. And I turned it down, and then 3 weeks later, 50 got it, and it's booming. I'm like, oh, look at this. But it was perfect for 50 to kind of take that deal because he was the hottest thing going.
For sure.
You know what I mean? At that time, and you could put a T-shirt on him, it was gonna sell. You know what I mean?
It showed.
So,
I think at that time, man, it just really showed a lot of us. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? What was possible?
right.
Because he was hot, hot as hell then.
So and hopefully Fifth listens to this, but I've been trying to get him into the sports agency thing.
He should.
right? And
With his
and-
influence, his impact, yeah, for
right,
sure.
because most of us either want to do some type of music or want to get into the acting or the movie
Mhm.
role. And if he had that, he'd
Mhm.
kill the game. And
Yep.
And that's been like that for years, like coming up, like
yeah,
athletes and artists intertwining,
Yeah.
wanting to having aspirations of doing vice versa.
yeah. So 50 was a boxer and all that, so he loves that aspect of the sport. But anything else, he's always cool with all of us.
Yeah.
Football, baseball,
Yeah.
basketball, whatever. But to get into that world,
Yeah.
he would kill it,
Yeah,
man. And
yeah, I agree with you.
hopefully, Five, you're listening to this. Let's do it, man.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next segment. We call it Open Mic, where we're gonna take a trip in the archives to give a story of a couple of plays. I have one that's not on here first. I want to
Oh
go.
shit!
No, it's safe.
Nah, I love it though.
You were one of the ones that started the double headband.
Yeah.
Where in the hell did that come from?
The what?
The double headband. You remember that shit, Mac?
I thought it was designed. I thought they had.
So they did. They
that was later. But
that was later. They came out with that shit. Yeah.
He was wearing just 2 headbands.
Yeah.
Like, tell that story, because I remember at that point it was going, it was crazy. It went from like wearing a little bit to where he had headbands going all kind of ways and stuff, and the NBA was like, nope.
Yep.
Tell that story, like how it started and then how it was nixed.
So I was in Milwaukee, obviously kind of, not necessarily losing my mind, but I was trying to.
Losing your mind.
Yeah, I was doing the Dennis Rodman, right? When Rodman played with the Bulls and all that, trying to figure out how to keep my celebrity and shit going.
Yeah.
So it started with the rubber bands. Then I went to the wristbands and I had it over my
on your biceps.
Muscle. Yeah, my biceps. And then I was like, oh shit. Everybody else is just wearing one headband. Because remember, a lot of us was getting the braids and all that stuff after AI. So I was like, you know what? Let me try to figure out a way to be different. And I just went with the double. I was able to get it the way I wanted to it in the front, but not in the back with the braids.
Yeah.
And man, it was about 3 games, Mac. We played one that was on national television, and it was like 2 other home games. And then the league was like, no more. Wear it again, you fine, right?
Stu Jackson, I'm sure.
Right. But here's the kicker. A week later, AI comes out with one headband, double colors.
Yeah.
With the logo on the joint.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I said, this is what, you know what I mean? And that was it. That was it. So I got away with it for 3 games. Didn't get anything out of it other than the league flipping it over, and, you know, they put it on the poster boy at that time.
Bro, I remember you had that junk at some point. It was like
Yeah.
half one on it, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, well, that's what Tim
You gotta
is.
see the pictures.
Help
right?
this man. He is going through it. But, well, we have a couple of options. Which one do you think? 2006, your game tying 3 versus the Lakers.
Oh, that was a thrill.
That was a moment.
Yeah, that
was a moment.
Yeah,
I remember that whole series.
Yeah, that was a thrill. Obviously, you know,
You're going up against Kobe.
Right, yeah. And I always will fuck with him on that. Like, yeah, I'm 1-0 against you. You got chips, but I'm 1-0 against you. But nah, that was a thrill, man. Like, that was first time seeing playoff Kobe. You know, regular season, you see Kobe, and he still always had that mindset.
Yeah.
But playoff Kobe was different. He didn't speak to me at all.
Yeah.
Look at me like he never knew me.
Mm-hmm.
He would play the mind games of, you know, speaking to my wife and kids, and then he'll look at me like, I don't know you, fuck you type shit. And it took me a minute to kind of get the understanding of it. Because, you know, we family. Like, you know, it's like,
it's different. That's what people don't understand, bro. Like, we know Kobe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's deeper than, like, we actually know who this dude really is.
Yeah, and, you know, I never forget, it was game 6. Yeah. Game 5 or game 6. He leans over, you know, pregame, and he gives my wife a kiss, and then he looks at me with this stare, and I'm like, you know, this is different. This different atmosphere, Kobe. You know what I mean? But that whole series was fun, man, because, you know, we was down 3-1 and having to fight back to get back in it, playing fast, and, you know, just kind of figuring him out, because everything was centered around him. You know what I mean? And no disrespect to the other guys that was on the team, but everything was centered around him.
Right.
But yeah, that was a thrill, man, to be able to be in that position. And to see a 2-time MVP miss the one before that, and then we get another opportunity, and it comes to me at the top of the key, and Steve is on the left side of me.
Yeah.
And I could have easily just swung that thing and put it all on him. And, you know, everybody know Kwame Brown, you know, not being disciplined. He's running directly at me. And I'm like, let me give him a little pump fake. And at that whole series, I was shooting the ball well.
Yeah, you shot the shit out of the ball.
And I was like, should I pass it to Steve, or, you know, go ahead and take this shot? And I just took the shot, man. And
One of the best feelings in the world, seeing that thing go in, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. And then especially on the road.
You was used as a spread 4, right?
Yeah,
Or did you play the 4 in Phoenix, right?
Right. So that year, Stat was hurt and Kurt Thomas was hurt.
Damn,
And-
Stack was still there?
Yeah, Stat was hurt.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Y'all won like 62 games that year.
They won damn near. I was on the shelf in Chicago.
You got traded.
I got traded from New York to Chicago. Chicago put me on the shelf because they wanted to sign me to the max and they didn't have anybody. And nobody wanted to go in after MJ and Pip and those guys, you know what I mean? Like with nothing, like give me some help, something.
Yeah.
So both times that they traded for me, they shelved me. So I was coming in off of them buying me out, trying to land a home. So at first I was gonna go to San Antonio, but they were stacked, and I was playing for another deal. That was gonna be my last deal. And I got to Phoenix, and Steve was like, "Listen, with your ability, me and you in the pick and roll, all you gotta do is set this screen, either hold it or slip it, and we good to go."
Hey, for me, please tell him more so. Playing with Steve Nash.
Oh, unbelievable.
He loves like J Kidd and playing with J Kidd. Thought that was one of the easy. And I said I played with J Kidd.
I played with J Kidd too.
Yeah, that was one of the the best times because he makes the game easy. But I also said Steve Nash was one of those guys as well.
Yeah,
he makes the game so easy. He could see openings, like you said, having those conversations. Yeah, man, just give a brief
so
Steve Nash, man.
Steve was such a talent, man, in a sense of he was obviously he could shoot the ball, right? Going left, going right, he could shoot the ball. And then he was so crafty with getting to spots. Like we all talk about that now, like getting to a spot to be able to, knock down that shot. And then the pick and roll game, right? I would say him.
Because he can
maybe J Kidd.
They can make all the passes at their
Chris
size.
Paul,
yeah,
right. And his soccer skills took him over the top because he was doing Euro steps. He'll come at you with a Euro step and whip it around you. You know what I mean? And you be in the corner. And it was like you always had to be on guard because you never knew when he was going to drop it off or whip it to you, So, but man, like I always talk about all the small guards I played with, Steph, Steve, AI. I always put Steve ahead of them because he can do much more. And Steph and AI, they were scorers, they was talented in their own right. But 2-time MVP, be able to shoot it, at a high clip, all that stuff.
Yeah, he was so technical. If you ever watch him at his free throw, he always did the same
routine.
Yeah. In practices, he was the same way.
Yeah.
He was always, he wanted to make sure every time.
Yeah.
It was in sync. And it was just crazy to watch, him play. Because you look at Steve Nash, you're like, okay, whatever. But then you watch him play, like, oh, this is a bad man.
50-40-90.
And the other thing,
50, 40,
too,
90.
was his conditioning.
Yeah.
His conditioning was
unreal.
Ridiculous. And then for me, it was harder for me, right? Because I'm on the couch. I'm trying to keep myself in shape. I'm running around New York City. I'm going to basketball city trying to stay in shape.
Yeah.
But y'all know it's nothing like getting a real practice and real game. And
so
I come in, I meet with the organization. We have like a brief like shoot around. They telling me to just take jump shots. Oh no, you can shoot it. Duh, this is what I've been doing all my life, right? And then Steve was like, no, we need to get this guy because he's going to space the floor, for us. And everybody was praying that either Kurt or Stat would come back. But they had like really bad injuries, you know what I mean? So I never forget my first game. I'm in there and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to kind of, maintain the speed of the game. And because they playing fast. Like this is street ball.
Yeah, that's old Phoenix play
slow
fast.
it down, big fella come in.
Yeah.
This is.
It wasn't none of that.
So I remember the first game, Steve was like, just follow me. And if you set a screen, set a hard screen and hold it, meaning so he can create space off that big. And then he was like, after you set that screen and I create space, just find the open spot. I'll find you. And I swear, my first game, I probably hit like 4 or 5 threes, instant. I had like 20 my first game.
You didn't have to work so much.
Nope. And then the next 2 weeks as a player, you're trying to figure out how to get yourself in shape. Oh, I'll get it in practice.
Yeah.
We didn't even practice.
They didn't practice in Phoenix, bro.
I'm like, yo, we in and out. Guys got, you play golf, tea time. I'm like,
and I played in Phoenix, so I know.
Yeah, tea time and this, that. I'm like, well, damn, I gotta do this on my own. So, it took me a minute to get in shape, but that was a good run out there.
Xfinity Court Connections is brought to you by Xfinity One. Internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. In your career, who is the teammate that you had the best chemistry with?
I probably would say Stephon. Reason why is because we grew up together. We grew up going 5-star.
Knicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We grew up, going to 5-star. I know his brothers. We competed against each other in the summer, all of those things. So we both came to New York at the exact same time. And it was a thrill for both of us to be here, to be home, family, friends. And then we both grew up Knicks fans and all of that.
Yeah.
So to have the opportunity to play in that building and all that shit was super, super special. Fat Joe and 50 Cent fucked that up with they beef. Because Steph was a Terror Squad guy.
A Fat Joe guy, yeah.
I played with Terror Squad, and then being really good friends with 50 and them, we kind of distanced ourselves a little bit.
That shit was that serious.
Yeah, it was that serious. It was that serious. I'm talking
about for the both of y'all, it was...
Yeah, because, you go on the road, yo, where you want to eat at? Yo, let's go catch a movie, or let's go to the club. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do with your teammates, right?
Yeah.
Because you're spending 6 to 8 months
with
these guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you come home, he has his people, I got my people. I spent a little bit more time in Jersey, just kind of following, seeing what the nephews and stuff is doing. But when you're on the road, that's when you really kind of, have that. Yeah, so he would go this way, I would go that way. And then on the court, it would be different things that kind of, as a player,
right?
Like, you're going to give me a grenade, you're going to dribble the shit out of it, and then give me a grenade at the end, or throw it at my ankles, and I got to go get it to try to make a play. Like, small things like that.
Yeah.
We didn't really kind of get at each other, not like that. But that affected us a lot. You know what I mean? But chemistry-wise, it was like, if we was in the same mindset and none of that shit happened,
y'all could have been.
We just go. And I never forget my first game after getting traded from Milwaukee. We go back to Milwaukee and we playing on ABC. And you know how it is when you get traded, you want to go and just show that team, like, I want to. So I struggled the first half, like bad. Like I couldn't throw a rock in the ocean, like bad. And second half, without saying nothing or nothing, Steph was just calling my number, feeding me, and I'm getting going. End up winning, and I had a better second half. I had finished with like 25 or something like that. We win the game, and there's a picture of us walking off the court hugging. And we didn't even have to talk or nothing. And it was just based off of just us coming up and going through the process. Steph was the first person that showed me the ropes on the stuff that you caught on to later by joining me. Gauchos, and all of that.
Yeah.
Like Steph was,
that's what he did.
Steph was getting the money and
yeah.
at 5-star showing us where to go to get extra food.
That's a fact.
Get the peanut butter and jelly, and
that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was that. So coming to New York, playing with him and Skip and Sham and all of them, because I played with the Gauchos. And they were going on different trips before us. I was going, the first time going to Vegas was with Gauchos, staying at the Tropicana. You know what I mean? So we had that, and we still do. Like, I'm the guy who told Steph to come back to be around the Knicks.
Yeah.
And now he moved from China, he's back here now. You know what I mean?
Where he should be.
Yeah, so that's the love that me and my brother have that, we don't have to say too much. We don't have to see each other for years. And when we do, we're going to link up and do what we got to do.
No doubt.
All right, so we talked about a lot of things, but we didn't talk about the world famous. That's how you got to announce that. The world famous.
The world famous?
The world famous Playaz Ball Pro-Am.
Yeah.
This was, one of many, like we practice in the gym often, but this was kind of one of the times where everybody in the area kind of got to see it all put together, because everybody saw him year in and year out, but they didn't see it together. And when you go watch this,
where's this game played at that
is at Patterson Catholic. So his high school.
You influenced
which is now
Patterson
closed
to play in this game. This is just What is it?
I was coming down there to play AAU.
A camp, or this is AAU?
Pro-Am.
This is Pro-Am.
oh,
So
this-
you have former pros in this. You have, God rest his soul, Anthony Mason, Conrad McRae, God rest his soul. You have former, pro guys in this. And then you also have the street ball guys that's from Rucker Park and all these other places. Because basically what I did was I created an indoor environment for guys to play in and play against the younger
pros.
guys coming up, the
Right.
pros. So Mace had his team. Obviously, we played together, and it was other, teams that
And everybody didn't know me like that. This is right after junior year of college.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm-
I'm in the league, he's going to the league. And they know him as North Carolina
Right.
Vince, but they heard the stories of us with AAU,
Okay.
which was
years
before, a couple years
yeah.
before. Yeah. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
y'all was going crazy in there.
Yeah.
The alley you caught when you did this. You remember that?
Yeah. From
You-
down.
Yo,
Yeah.
you caught the alley, bro. You had to duck your head whilst turning and dunk. We got to put that on social.
He just caught a pass.
So y'all
the
don't
windmill
think I'm
off the
crazy.
vertical.
Yeah, what I was seeing as a 14, 15-year-old kid sitting in the stands watching this dude. Yo,
Yeah.
And see, that was like playing
my
in that. That's
gosh.
like motivation. I enjoyed playing in these games and stuff like that. And then it was just like easy. I mean, if you look at like the runway, it's like all the attention to him, or I'm in the post, he cut back door, I just throw it to him, he just go dunk. Everybody like, okay, what am I gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Vice versa.
And it was just a carryover from our earlier years of playing
Yeah.
AAU together. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
obviously, again, that right there was the start of the players program. So we don't know what kids were sitting in the stands at that particular time
True.
watching us.
Right.
Right.
And us giving them motivation.
Right. Inspiring them kids.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing,
Yeah.
man. It's like that was good times right there, man.
No,
Like,
I mean,
Hold on,
What?
hold on.
but go ahead.
You know what the score was?
No.
156 to 94.
See that?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Y'all was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
156
And
to
then
94.
the game was over. We going to Fridays to eat all
Right.
Yo.
Oh man.
Yeah, good times.
Good times, man. Hey man, I don't want to end this conversation without talking about your Tim Thomas Players Program
Yes.
and what you're doing, because I feel like that's important outside of all of the things we've talked about today.
Mhm.
Like the difference you're making, you're doing that with your one-on-one league, giving people opportunity. You're
Right.
mentoring guys, trying to show them the way, change their lifestyle, change their mentality, or give them some purpose.
Definitely.
Talk about that, man. Talk about your
Well,
program.
it started with us, V. Our run, and then getting into the league and having an Adidas deal and all of that. The way the Pro-Am started was I was in Philly. They wanted me to stay in Philly. I wanted to be in Jersey. So I was like, we have some good runs here in Jersey. So I was working out with our assistant coach, Ron Adams. And then in the evening, he was like, they wanted us to train in the morning and, start the stuff, play in the evenings. And that's how the Pro-Am started. So I took all of the guys that was playing at Rucker, Anthony Mason, God rest his soul, Conrad McRae, God rest his soul. I was bringing all those guys to play against us. You know what I mean? So after that Pro-Am year, again, the next year comes around, you're
Right.
getting all this merch again. So it's like, what are you
What
going to
do?
do? So
Right.
then I'm riding around the community and I'm well established and I'm looking at the kids in the community. I'm like, I got to be able to do something for these kids. And, that's when it started. So, yeah, man, this summer's 29 summers and
Oh, wow.
God, I was just about to
I
ask you.
said-
29.
29
That's-
summers. I started it my rookie year.
Wow.
So this year's 29 summers. We produced 22 McDonald's All-Americans, 32 pros. I sent over 12K kids off to college through the game of
Wow.
basketball. So, again, that
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
that started with us, man, because
That's what's up.
you know
That's what it's about.
yeah,
Yeah.
giving back. And when we was going on our run and everything and seeing guys like GP and, other guys who may have had programs,
Mhm.
that was the idea. It was like, boom, I got to do something to, kind of give back.
Do you remember that first success story? That first one kid that you got to see like the trajectory change? Do you remember that first one?
Eddie Griffin. God rest his soul.
Right.
Eddie Griffin
Yeah,
from
that's
Houston.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he was a kid that was super talented, was coming up like we
I
did.
remember that.
And then, he had his success and, playing through the program and, so many more. J.R. Smith,
J.R. Smith was right.
Dante Jones, so many guys, man, that came through. Nas Reed, guys like that,
That's
man. It's
dope.
just, that's the blessing. And, like for me, you guys have had better careers than me, right? And I don't get jealous off of other guys' success and
Right.
everything because I'm still in that percent, right? I'm still in the fraternity,
sure.
right?
Facts.
And I believe I had a great career and a great run, right? And all of that, right? And my peers respect me for that, right? But the real blessing is that.
What you did, yeah. What
Because,
you did with
I mean,
it.
listen to those numbers
Yeah.
of what you've done and
32,
accomplished, bro.
like some corporate companies don't even have 32 other guys that they could say they help
That's impressive.
become multi-millionaires.
That's impressive.
You know what I mean?
No,
So
it's really impressive.
we all done our part. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And now I'm coaching high school basketball at Paramus Catholic. And I kind of slowed down with the AAU
Okay,
stuff.
coach.
Yeah.
Now, Lisa, my
Yep.
my assistant, she lives in Jersey.
Yeah.
And when you first moved here, they went and watched the game and told
Yep.
me you was down there. Coach, I'm like, yo, I got to get the schedule and come check you out.
Yeah,
now that
yeah.
we're coming east, working
Yeah,
up
please
there, so
do.
we
Kids
definitely
will love it.
we're gonna come through.
Yeah,
We're gonna
kids
come
will love
through.
it,
Just send
man.
us the
Kids will
schedule.
love it.
How has life as a coach been for you? Like knowing what you know and
Right.
having all the basketball knowledge.
Right.
Today's game, they're talented, but the basketball knowledge and
Yeah,
IQ
yeah,
sometimes is
yeah.
managing,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
how
it's-
they can't
that with
accept
social
failure.
media.
You know what I mean?
How-
Going through
how
those
has that
turbulent
been?
times.
How's that been? man?
I've multiple times I have to pull myself back. Multiple times. And it happens summer, winter, during the season. You gotta kind of reel yourself in because you have to understand that there's so many more
different, right?
distractions.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and here's the other thing, right? I have yet to coach a kid that's a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. I've been coaching kids that are just kids that are hungry, love to play, and I'm giving them an opportunity, right? And I figured out the blueprint of how to help kids get into school without having the ranking and the name and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically playing the kids that have those names or the programs that have those names. So this upcoming year will be my 4th year. In 3 years, every senior that I have, I help get to college.
Fire.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a struggle because a lot of times I can't give them all of the information, like even play sets and different things like that.
They can't process.
No,
that. It's too
not at
much.
all.
It's too
Not at
much.
all. Not at
Yeah.
all. And I just try to make the game as easy as possible for them. And also, I don't tell any of my kids not to shoot the basketball.
Oh no.
Like,
Encourage them to.
Yeah, I'm like the guys that's struggling with their shot. Yo,
Let it
shoot the
fly.
ball, you open. Like,
Yeah.
and because it's all about the growth and development of those young kids.
And the confidence.
Yeah,
A lot
and
of these kids lack
yeah.
confidence when it goes bad.
Yeah.
It's easy when things go your way, but
Yeah.
when it goes bad,
Yeah.
like a lot of these
you know
kids.
what I mean? So yeah, man, I'm enjoying the process of it all. You see a lot of guys now coaching at the youth level, or the high school level, or whatever you want to call it, kind of doing that and giving back, man. It's a beautiful thing, man.
No doubt.
All right, this is our arcade sponsored segment. Because it was time to raise our glass to who raised you. Arkay Zero Proof delivers the taste, aroma, and even the burn of real spirits without alcohol, sugar, or carbs.
So we have this segment where we talk about who raised us.
Mhm.
So my dog, it could be anybody. It could be family. It could be.
You want to go? One of us go first? Give him a second.
All right,
Explain it,
yeah,
though.
So I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go first. Talk about who raised me. So I had an older cousin in the house. He's a grown man by the name of Carol Johnson, but we called him CJ.
Mhm.
And he's the one that got me involved in sports. I started baseball. His favorite sport was baseball. Like every time I come in the house, it's the Cubs and the Yankees on. That's why I'm a Yankees fan.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm a diehard Yankees fan. So at 5 years old, I remember my mom signing me up for baseball. And I remember being their first day out there and, all the kids is around. This is crazy that I remember this. That's how important it was for me.
Yeah.
So I remember all the kids is we just standing around, and then our coach was like, "All right, kids, I'm gonna count to 3, and I want you to run to the position you want to play." And he was like, 1, 2, 3. So I ran straight to the pitcher's mound, right? And from that point on, I was going to be a pitcher. So my cousin CJ, when I come home and he knows that I'm playing baseball, I remember, bro, he used to teach me. We used to set up, because I was pitching, he used to set up these 2 pillows on our couch. And that used to be like my strike zone. I used to throw the ball, have to throw the ball right in between these pillows.
That's
right?
dope.
Yeah. As a 6'5", 6-year-old, that's what I was doing. I was throwing the ball in between, and I just had to consistently just keep throwing it. And as I got older, we took it outside. I had a fence outside my yard, so we'll take it outside, and I'll be in the street, and he'll have up against the fence where my strike zone is, and he was just teaching me how to just strike, throw the ball with my accuracy. And he was just constantly just having, when I come in the house, hey, man, he'll come home he was a janitor at my high school. So he'll come home, and he's like, hey, man, let's watch the game, bro. Watch what this pitcher is doing tonight. And it was just every day and every night we were watching baseball, and that's how I just fell in love with being a pitcher. But that struck my interest in other sports because, baseball, I played baseball for 5, 6, 7, 8. There was no basketball. This was all baseball, and then I started football at the age of 8. So these were my 2 main sports. No basketball involved. Obviously, I played in the neighborhood, but no structured basketball. But yeah, man, shout out to CJ. God rest his soul. He got me started and involved in sports at the age of 5. And yeah, man, that's why I'm sitting here today, still loving the game of baseball.
All right.
That's a
dope.
story. That's a good one. Yeah.
So this one's gonna go to 2 guys. And when I say their name, you're gonna be like, wait, but there's a reason why. So I want to show some love to Antonio Davis and Kevin Willis.
Yes, sir.
And the
yes, sir.
The reason why, obviously, as
real
young guys,
OGs.
yeah, the reason as young guys, as we were young guys, obviously looking out for us. But I want to show love to them as I became an older guy and a veteran, which became the older player in the league, and I still leaned on these guys and had conversations with guys like AD and Kev because they were once in that locker room as the old guy, and we gave them hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time, particularly when I played in Atlanta, I would see Kev, and I went up to him and shook his hand. I was like, "Hey, man, my bad, man." He's like, "What for?" I said, "Man, the hell that we put you through and all that, all that junk we talked to you about being old. Like, man, we used to get that man hell on earth."
Yeah.
And I said, "My bad, man." He said, "Oh, you see what it is? Now, it ain't that easy." And I understood it, but at the same time, and as a player, like I was in my 40s. My last game was 43, but I was still trying to evolve, and I wanted to learn. And that was the other side of basketball. Like, I still want to be the best version of myself as a player, but as that mentor, because I vouched to the team, like, hey, I'll help them, but I still want to show them by playing as well. But I was always, every time I would see AD in Atlanta or Kev, I just shoot the shit with them, like, hey, man, talk to me. Like, I'm just trying to do this, do that. And it wasn't long, the conversations, but some of the things that we talked about, just little things, just got me to thinking and helped me evolve, because it went from locker rooms like what we walked into that had 5, 6, maybe 7, sometimes 8 vets to now I'm the only one. They want you to manage 14,
Everybody.
15 guys, and I didn't really know how to do that, because like it's patience, but still be the player that I want to be. And at that age of 40, I'm trying to still prove that I can last in this league. So I wanted to give love to AD
Shout out
and
AD
Kev, man.
and
Shout out to you guys,
Kev.
for helping me as a vet on the back end. But I leaned on them, and they looked out for you, boy.
Who you got, T?
So for me, I can never forget this lady, Miss Pugash. In the third grade, she was the one that called this coach by the name of Lou Mathis, big-time football coach. He went to Ohio State. He was a guy that was like well-known, had his own career, all of that stuff. He came and got me and put me in a city league. And that's how I kind of started buzzing a little bit in the city league. And then other coaches came around at that point. But later on, man, like just going through the process of, going to college and all of those things, I mentioned earlier, Alvin Williams, Jason Lawson, those guys showing me the ropes. And then in the league, I had Terry Cummins and Tom Chambers. Shout out to those
real
two
vets
OGs.
right there, boy.
I'm talking vet,
See, Cummins
vets.
strong, man. That man was so strong, bro.
And you know, it was all the way through. You know, being a young guy, I would have to eat breakfast with Terry Cummins every morning. I knew exactly what he wanted on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what newspapers to get. Like, that was my guy. I just seen him recently at the Big East tournament. Love that guy to this day. Shout out, OG. Love you, baby.
That's the old NBA there, baby.
And then Tom Chambers just showing me the ropes on how to take care of your body, you know, within the game. Like, that was like everything for me. Because I was running with a young Allen Iverson that was wild, a young Stackhouse, Derrick Coleman. But I had that balance with those two that really kind of, you know, gave me that insight on, listen, this is what you need to be doing. This is how you should be doing it, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
He had successful careers, dog.
Definitely.
The ride that we had is just, you know, something we always sit back and talk about.
It's amazing how life works. I've known you since you were 14, 15, and you guys have crossed paths. And then we cross paths to where we sit here today to tell that story about what happened to, you know, for other people. Like, you know,
like I've been across the water with this dude, like
a few times.
Different places, whether it's the Philippines or Taiwan. What, you know, our girls at the time, like, we've been places because of through Adidas. So
basketball does a lot, man.
It does, man.
All right, good people. That's a wrap, man. I want to thank my man Tim Thomas, man. Thank you for coming through, man. We appreciate it. For telling the stories. Like, people have always talked about that AAU team, but never really got to any of us really in the same room. And obviously, y'all being in the same building. But we appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Mac, close us out.
All right, y'all know what it is. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to follow us on social at Vincent T. Mac. You know what it is, man. It's the cousins, Tim Thomas. We out. Peace.
Peace.